was happening a lot in the state of Florida. And this is one of the reasons why a bunch of insurance companies are now insuring in Florida again. Correct, Ross? Is that pretty much a little synopsis of how that worked?
Yeah, things are getting a lot better. A lot of companies have opened up their guidelines back right and everywhere. Roof ages aren't as big of a deal as they were. Rates are coming down, especially in the last couple of months. Rates have come down I say significantly, but compared to what they were, it is. And things just kind of continue to get better.
Yeah, and that's why you need to call Ross Camaronets with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Hey, he's going to shop your policy. Send him your deck page so that he can give you an apples-to-apples comparison and see if he can save you some money.
Yeah, no harm, no foul. If we can, awesome. If we can't, you've got a good deal.
All right.
Excellent. So Ross,
I got a thumbs up from Jim. Does that mean he's ready? Or
yeah, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Everybody that we don't even have anybody watching right now because I was late. So hopefully they're going to come back.
It's your fault.
So sorry about that. Yeah, that's what we get. It's been a long week. On Thursday, I had to go up to Ocala to go pick up a listing. Little shout out to Paul. Paul, I helped sell one of his relatives' properties back in the day. He needs to now sell his mom's property, who has now moved down to Palm Beach County. So I had to go up to Ocala, take a look at the property, figure out what we needed to do to sell it, and a couple other things. And while I was up there, I was meeting Brian, who is a retired PBSO deputy and Fort Lauderdale firefighter. Thank you for your service, Brian. Retired guy. And I helped sell his house in Madison Green and Royal Palm. And then we helped him buy a new home in Dunellen, infamous Dunellen, where I never knew where it was when we were talking on the radio show a couple of weeks ago. And what ended up happening was I went up there and watched how he transformed the house since he bought it last year. It was really, really nice to see. His whole life had changed when he moved up there. It made me really happy. But he has his girlfriend, Catherine, has a triplex up in Ozone Park, New York, that needs to sell. So I went up there. I found a top agent up there, really top agent. And he's in the top 200 of all the Keller Williams agents in the United States. At 160,000, he's in top 200 for production.
It's just a small amount.
Yeah, so the guy's kind of a slacker. I'm like, only 200? So anyway, we went up there, took a look at that. So that day, and then I had to be back to show properties on Friday. So I left at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I got home at 12:50 Friday morning. So I've got what I call a driving hangover, just because I'm so tired from driving so much, 500 miles in one day. Plus took a listing, met with another family, did all that. But man, it was definitely worth it. First of all, I love driving Florida. I just like driving around in Florida. I don't know. Driving's fun to me. And the other thing, it was so great for me to see how happy Brian was in his new house, because Brian was one of the longest in the year we sold it last year. We actually tried to start selling that house in 2024, and it didn't sell until 2025. And I think it was 270 days on market. And Brian had gone through one other realtor for almost 350 days before he met me. And I thought I could sell it like in 60 days. And it was 270 or 80 days to sell the house. It was a really long one. And Brian and I had a lot of animated talks.
Animated talks.
Yes. And we respected each other very much. We knew each other, had each other's back. But at one point, I actually said to Brian, because I actually care about people, I said, maybe I'm not the guy to sell this house. And I never hardly ever say that. But I had to be honest. I was like, maybe you should move on to another realtor. And he's like, I don't want to do that. I want you to sell my house. So he had my back. And anyway, we worked it out. Then I went up there, and I remember when we bought the house up there. But now he's just totally transformed it. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath newer construction home with an acre. He only paid just a smidgen over $300,000 for a 2022 CBS construction home. That's crazy. Pretty much brand new everything.
With an acre too.
With an acre on it.
That's the part that jumps out to me.
He's got space to sprawl.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And he has just I want to call it Mac Daddy because he's got so many other plans. Later will be Super Mac Daddy. but he already put in a metal building in there, and he always had like group parties at his house and stuff like that. So I thought the metal building, when I went, he told me about it because we've kept in touch over the year, and he told me about all his upgrades. But he never showed me the inside of the metal building. So we went out there, and I opened up the door, 600 square feet or something. He completely drywalled it in. It's air conditioning. It's like a little.
It's like a man cave.
Yeah,
almost.
it actually has a sign that says "My Man Cave" on
Yeah.
it, and he does. And it was so nice. And then he converted a chicken coop that was on there and turned into this like planting station. And they got all these plants. He put a hot tub in the backyard. He's going to do one of those metal pools. You ever see those where they turn the metal
The-
containers into pools?
Either the shipping container or the round
Yeah.
I forget. Yeah.
I like a tub, almost like a
Yep.
metal tub, a
Yep.
wash tub, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's putting that in, and he's already fenced the property, and he's still got another half acre that's undeveloped. So I'm really happy. And when I was watching all the things he had done and everything, I was like, wow, this is why I do what I do. It isn't about like how many deals you close, whether you're a top agent or not. It's like watching the people's lives being impacted like that. It was just really nice. It made me feel really good. So on the way home, even though I was tired, I felt really happy. So thank you, Brian and Catherine, for trusting me, trying to find the right realtor for you up in New York to get your property sold. And thank you, Paul, for referring me to your mom, Cecilia. Lady's 84 years old. Don't want to make her too old. She's 84 years old. Drove all the way from Port St. Lucie to Ocala. Gets to the house. No air conditioning. So when I go up there to meet her up there on Thursday, she's sweating profusely, right? Because it's so hot. And she's trying to clear 15 years of stuff out of that house to get it ready for sale. So it was she's just a really trooper. I called her a force of nature. So in order to do the listing, it was just so hot in that house. I'm like, let me take you to a restaurant. Let's go get something to eat and stay in the air conditioning. She was so grateful. Oh, and the other thing that happened is Brian is a former PUSO deputy. He's never driven in a Tesla before. So I took him in the Tesla and I had him drive. And I had him quote drive on the full self-driving. And he goes, no, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, come on, try it. So he did that. And when he was done, he's like, I can see myself buying one of these. That was kind of funny. So, and another funny thing happened. I couldn't find my car. I parked into a parking lot. I was like really tired and busy. Couldn't find the parking lot. There was another man looking for his car in the parking lot too and got lost. And we were in a parking garage. So I finally got so tired. I was like, forget it. And I hit the summon button on the car. So the car came to me, right where I was standing because I couldn't find the car. And the guy was still looking for his car. We both passed each other a couple of times. We were looking for our car. And then my car drove by him while he's still looking. And he noticed that nobody was in the car. And he was like probably like in his 70s or something. And he stopped. He was so dramatic. He stopped and couldn't believe it. He was staring at the car. And he's kind of peering in the window because the car only goes like 2 miles an hour when it's being summoned. And he's looking in the car and he can't see anybody's there. He's almost touching the window. He's looking in so much, right? And then the car drives by and then he sees me like 100 feet away with my hand on my phone and the car's coming straight to me. And he just like looked totally dejected and he just shook his head like, what's going on with the world? And I'm like, you need to get one of those cars. You found your car already. It was a pretty cool moment.
That's funny. People used to do that as a prank, They dress up, they look like a seat or something, and go to a drive-through and freak people out. And now you just do it with a click of a button.
Well, that's called summon. Now they have this. I haven't tried it yet. I don't even know if it's out yet because I haven't upgraded the car. But now they have a thing like, let's say you want to go to the movie theater or it's raining or something. The car will drop you off at the front of where you're going. And then it'll just park itself.
Like
you don't pick the parking space. You don't
like
do
that.
anything. You just walk in and it goes and parks itself.
That's insane.
And then when you come back and you're ready to go, go get the car, you just hit the button. It comes and picks you up again. It's kind of crazy. So, anyway,
yes.
sorry, a long time.
Self-driving vehicles.
Yep. Hey,
We're just getting started with all of that.
Well,
oh yeah, it's not even the beginning because once this starts getting popular, I'm not like into the Tesla isn't the only one. There's other ones
Mhm.
coming out. Maybe it'll get better than Tesla. So I'm not like in love with the brand. Although this is really nice technology, but eventually these cars are going to start talking to each other, and that's going to be really cool, right? So we're not going to have like the whole rubbernecking on the car. Like a crash happens in 95, the traffic's going to go way smoother because the cars are just going to let each other weave in so that the traffic.
Are they
is
going to let
going
me in
everywhere.
my 88 like Ford F-150?
Well, that's already happened in real life a couple of times already where people, you ever been at a place where you have like a five lane traffic going one way and two of the lanes are making a left-hand turn and you got three other lanes and then somebody is towards your right and they're trying to get through those 5 lanes to get to the
Left turn.
left turn. A car was doing that and it was cutting across and the people to the right of me, they were like beeping, like saying, what are you doing cutting in front of us? And they're getting all bent out of shape. And my car, when it came up to me without me doing anything, car slowly backs up, lets the guy get into the left-hand lane. And then my car just took off. I didn't have to worry about anything.
Talk about removing stress from
It-
driving.
it's so stressless now. If people cut me off, it doesn't piss me off anymore because the car's dealing with it, right?
It's
like,
polite
that's not
mode.
me.
It's in polite mode.
Well, until they get to the horn, because you have a lot of different noises you can make for the horn, and my horn is that auga sound, pretty obnoxious. And the other weird thing about that car is if anything bad happens, and if you hit your horn, it automatically saves what's happened for like the last 5 minutes in the car
Yeah.
in case there's ever like a police incident or something. So you have stuff. Anyway, I hope people aren't mad that I'm driving a Tesla because some people get really mad. My sister used to be one of them until she actually drove in the car and then she became a fan. But pretty cool. And the technology is just getting crazy. Just want to do a couple of just say hellos. It's so happy to see Muriel here. Muriel helped her sell her house in West Palm, and we helped her find a place in South Carolina. That was a deal very similar to like the New York deal I'm talking about now. When Muriel came to us, she wasn't sure where she wanted to live. There were 2 states she was thinking about, and she didn't know which state she wanted to move to. So we said, no problem. We comped her property, figured out what we could sell it for, so she had a budget. Then I found an agent in both states where she could work with in case she found something that she needed. And she decided to pick South Carolina. That agent was awesome, found her a place. Muriel's been up there, I think, 3 or 4 years now.
I was gonna say that was right before my time.
Yeah, and Muriel is
Been
she's
that long already. 'Cause I remember that. I remember Muriel. What a wonderful person.
isn't she great?
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, and she's a golfer, and I see her Facebook posts all the time, and I see how happy she is up there, and just really good things. So happy South Florida, Muriel. Maybe you'll come down and we'll have lunch sometime. Also, just want to say to Francis, longtime fan, Francis, sometime you've got to give me your address. I've tried to send you holiday cards and other things. I have no way to get in touch with you. So some way, Francis, we got to get your address. And Joseph, thank you. Good morning. Glad to see you here. And Magali, we had just talked about you, Magali. Ross was just talking about you, but I had screwed up the internet stuff. So he was talking about how you went to him for the homeowner's insurance and it didn't work out, that you had a pretty good plan the way it was. So you're going to keep that, but you had the savings on the auto insurance, right, Ross?
Yeah.
It was the auto insurance savings that helped out Magali. So we're here to help you. And let's roll right into that first. And later today, and I'm really looking forward to this, there were all these articles, Chris and Jimmy, this week that I saw about complaints about what's happening in the insurance industry, and that there's these big changes about 15-year limits on roofs and like the type of roof you're putting on. People are getting PO'd about that and all kinds of things. So I was saving these articles saying, oh, when Ross comes back, we'll talk about it. And I was bringing it up to him yesterday. I said, my instincts are that a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing in the news channels lately has been incorrect. And he goes, yeah, it has been incorrect. So we're going to do some Florida insurance myth busting today, later on in the show, and it can save you a lot of money. And Jimmy was just talking about how much money Ross has already saved the customers this year. So you had the $500,000 goal, and where are you right now?
314.
314. So we're 3/4. Well, what is that? 60%
yeah.
there, 60% there. So we just need 40% more people to come to save money. Ross has saved and his team has saved $314,000 for not just his customers that are already his customers, but anybody that calls up and say, "Hey, give me an insurance quote. I want to see if I can save money." Now, that 314,000, Ross, is that just homeowners insurance or all types of insurance policies?
All types. So
Good, good.
auto, home, even a little bit of commercial.
Yeah, and auto has been seeing pretty good price drops lately, also.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of carriers, it's what they call a soft market. So everybody's wanting to get more of that market share. All the companies are profitable. You're seeing even some homeowners insurance companies are kicking around the idea of entering the auto market in Florida.
Huh. Wow.
That's interesting.
So we went from run away from Florida, running away into the night, and now they're coming back. It's like, take me, right? So things are changing, and if you watch the news too much, and I used to be a former media guy, the information that's being put out there on some of these issues is just like, it makes my jaw drop. That don't you guys do any research whatsoever before you just put opinions out on there? It's like news isn't just news anymore. Even on the local level, it's a little depressing. Yeah.
I think I saw the same news story last night on TV. It was talking about somebody, their roof is now 15 years old.
We're good.
And their insurance rate skyrocketed
Yeah.
this year.
And then somebody else put on a metal roof. We're going to get into this later, but
Yeah.
somebody else put a metal roof on, and they were complaining that they didn't get an insurance discount that they were expecting because they put on the super duper roof. So we're going to get into all that and give you some really good savings tips and understanding when you're buying stuff what the impact will be on your insurance. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. We're also going to do for savings on that. We're also going to talk about, and this is a shout out to Dave. Dave M had sent me a home hardening. Reminded me about the tax breaks for all the home hardening features you could do for hurricane protection and how much tax savings there are. So we're going to talk about that through the tax savings. But we're also going to say, if you put impact windows in, how much insurance discount will you get? And we're going to talk to Ross in general about that stuff and find out what's going on. Now, we have a really, really big announcement. I'm really excited. Next Saturday, we're going to have Dorothy Jacks, the Palm Beach County property appraiser, on. Dorothy's been a friend of the show for a couple of years now, and she's been on our show twice before. Once when we were still in the COVID phase, when we weren't in studio, and then when we had her on the second time, I thought she was going to come in through StreamYard, Zoomy type of thing. And she's like, no, I prefer to come into the studio. So I'm always going to be a big Dorothy fan just for that. But Dorothy's going to come on, and she's going to answer questions about what would potentially happen if the new referendum coming up to eliminate Florida property taxes, how that would really affect us financially. Now, in a way, she doesn't have a stake in this fight because she's the property appraiser. So all she is basically a number cruncher to make sure that we're collecting taxes properly in the county and that the property tax rates are correct. However, she does see how this will affect municipalities and counties if this law goes into effect. So she's going to come on, but it's going to be for informational purposes only, guys. And I'm setting the agenda right now. This isn't a red blue show. We try not to do that. We respect everybody. You could have your opinion. Other people can have their opinions. We're going to be respectful. So we would love to have your questions on the air when she comes on next week. But it's going to be facts. It's going to be what will happen, not opinions about it, because that's for you to decide. That's when you go to the voting booth and you decide, am I going to vote for this or not vote for this? But at least you want some facts involved, and this will be a really great person to give us some real concrete information on this. And I'd love to know any other questions that you guys have. So if you have any questions that you would love Dorothy to answer, you could always call us next week and call us on the hotline. And you can call us right now, 877-927-6969, and we'll take your call on the air. But we could take your call live on the air next week, or you could just send an email to us through floridatalkrealestate.com and fill out the contact form and say, hey, hey, Jim, I'd like you to ask Dorothy this, and put the questions out there. And we'll go through those and try to get as many of them answered. I want to talk to her about my idea about saving money for insurance because Johnny last week, Russ, you were here the week I came up with the plan to solve the Florida Florida tax problem for homesteaded. Were you here that week?
Maybe.
Okay, so what I had is my plan was, right, this is the idea I came up with. Okay, so let's say Chris has a home and he's lived there 15 years and he's been homesteaded protected. So his tax rate is way lower than it would be if it wasn't protected. And then I'm coming to buy Chris's house, and my intent is to buy his house and turn it into a homesteaded property. It isn't a second home or an investment property. I'm moving to Chris's house. Well, the way that works is in today's real estate market is that the taxes get to reset once Chris leaves and I'm buying that house. It's a one-time reset as long as that you apply for the homestead exemption, and now your taxes go up pretty big that 1 year. And then after that, it's capped to no more than 3% a year. Well, what would happen is if somebody has a homesteaded property and the new homesteaded buyer comes in and they get to keep the rate that Chris has right now with no increase, and then keeps that cap of no more than 3% a year. Now, this would only be for people that are going to be doing homesteading, right? Not for secondary properties. But if you did that, it would make homes so much more affordable for these homesteaded properties. I'm just going to be transparent. I just bought a place for myself a couple of weeks ago, and the tax bill is about $3,800 a year. But my tax bill, once the tax calculations reset, is estimated to be closer to $7,600 a year. So that comes out to about $325, $300 to $350 a month more on my mortgage payment. And we know that every $5,000 costs you of loan costs you $30, right? So saving $300 a month from your property insurance or property taxes, that would be a huge savings to boost my purchase power or just make my home more affordable. And my argument, and this is what I'm going to ask Dorothy, is they're already surviving on Chris's tax bill already. So by increasing the tax bill, you get that bump, which is great for the county, the municipalities, and everything. But it kind of stinks for the homeowner, right? And you're already affording your budget on Chris's. Why are you jumping it almost double for the new guy that's coming in? And if you save that, it might end up making things way more affordable, and you're affecting people that want to stay here and not buying second properties. When I put that out, were you there that week when I put that out?
No, but where do you draw the line?
What do you mean?
Like, so, okay, so you put that into effect today.
Mm-hmm.
Chris has been in his house for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same house. I've been in my house for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Chris's house is now worth more than mine, because if you get to buy his house, you're paying his taxes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you buy my house, you're paying my taxes, which are, probably three times as much as his.
Probably, yeah.
So now his house becomes more valuable.
It's an interesting perspective.
Well, that is. I mean, I understand where you're coming from on that, but to me, that would be less of a problem than the way that they've talked about fixing it.
Right, but then somebody's still paying taxes on their reset value last year, right? Like if you put that,
Mm-hmm.
so all those houses that were purchased last year are now less valuable
And they're locked in
as the
theoretically.
purchase year goes back, the houses become more valuable.
They could become more valuable. Yeah, there could be. I feel like I forget how they were going to plan on the way they were doing it before, which is kind of what's happened with the referendum, because the referendum changed a couple of times. But the way they're doing it now, the way that they're trying to do it now, where they're just going to go across the board and increase the homestead exemption hopefully up to $500,000, which means that I think what did they say? It was 60 something % of the people would pay no non-ad valorem on ad valorem taxes. But when you do it that way, it just seemed to me that the cities were going to be in bigger trouble that way because you're taking away future taxes from them. The way I'm looking at it is that if you could afford, my big argument is when we see the tax bills changing a lot from the property appraiser setting new assessed values and market values. Some of those years we see neighborhoods where you're seeing 24% increase. I saw one recently, 32% increase from 2022 to 2023.
It's not like those properties just became 30% more expensive to manage.
Exactly. So that's my argument.
Yeah, no,
that would be, and it's good
where
that
do you
bring
draw
it-
the line?
Exactly.
Right? Because all the people who bought their house last year now
Yeah,
have this crazy tax burden compared to, the guy who's buying his house tomorrow.
Yeah. And I get that, but
There's actually a solution for that.
what do you think?
So you could basically reset everybody's baseline starting point retroactively to like 5 years prior or 10 years prior. So essentially what you're doing is those that have bought within the last 5 or 10 years are getting the opportunity to get on a better balance with those from like say 20 years ago. So is it 100%
somewhere
even
draw a line.
fair?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but it creates ultimately what needs to happen for something like that to work is there has to be a level, like a baseline event. So everything has to become on a level playing field to be able to, make it fair moving forward.
Yeah. And then it would cycle over years. It would cycle up to become more even to work that way.
But at the end of the day, all you got to just say is, all right, we're just going to lower our tax rate.
Or
you can
that.
still pay taxes, but we're just going to lower it.
So here's the thing that I find interesting. So if you look at revenue intake by the state of Florida, somewhere between 64 to 70% of the revenue is non-homestead properties. So these are all second properties, investment properties, et cetera. Only 36% of property tax revenue is homesteaded properties. The one thing that I don't feel has been really, everybody's crying, oh, we're going to lose all these services. We're going to lose all these services. But we're actually talking about it's affecting a smaller portion of the totality of the budget, right? It's not the majority of the budget. And so for me, that's the kind of the getting Dorothy's, thought process on the whole, because Florida is perpetually going to be there's going to continue to be a higher percentage of non-homestead properties just because of all the second and, vacation.
Yeah, we're a tourist state.
We're a tourist state.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I feel like some people are blowing it out of proportion as to what the negativity of the impact can be. I totally agree that there is going to be some negative impact in some way that we don't maybe fully understand yet. But I think it's like a lot of things, people tend to blow it out of proportion until, you start getting into it.
And another fact that you don't hear, except for Jim brought it up, and I've kind of brought it up a little bit, and I just looked it up on Perplexity, and it comes from the county of Palm Beach. It's their records that in the past 10 years, they went from generating revenue of $1 billion to $1.9 billion.
Yeah.
So they've almost doubled their revenue in that, and
did we
and
get
that's not
double
even
the
all of it.
services?
Absolutely not.
And the bigger thing I think is it isn't just that services doubled. Did we have double the demand for services? Right?
Yeah.
Because how governments are just built. No matter how much money you have, they're going to spend it. They're going to spend it.
Yep.
So if they have a little bit or a lot, they're going to spend it. Whatever they got, they're going to spend. So my thing is that, and that's why I like the idea of keeping the homestead going from one homesteaded owner to the next, because really the services haven't changed for that specific property, right? You still need fire, you still need police, you still need gas, you still need you still need utilities. You need your trash picked up. You got to have your school service, the road service, all that. Nothing changes. Now, if the population doubled, if the population in that area doubled and you have more services demand from people, I can understand that you would need more money.
Sure. And they get that because now that new construction, instead of paying $700 on taxes for that quarter acre lot, they're getting $7,000 on that same quarter acre lot for one additional family. And yes, of course, you do that times 1,000 and you're going to have more impact, but they're getting that revenue for that.
It's going to be really interesting. We'll get into more of this next week, but it's going to be really interesting because the way I think the vote's going to go, if we even get to the vote, they did just change the language yesterday. There was there was a ruling that the language for the referendum that's going up for the vote wasn't written properly. It sounded a little too political, where they're making it sound like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread instead of saying, hey, we're thinking about doing this, and staying neutral, just saying what would happen. The biggest problems they have is, I think this is a Florida thing. The state legislators really haven't come up a plan to explain to the public what would happen if this happens. Everybody's guessing. Like Chris was saying, we'll figure out what happens in the future. And maybe we need to do that. Maybe we need to rip the Band-Aid off, scale back dramatically, and then add services back as we realize, hey, we really needed that service. I'm not saying that we should do that. I'm just saying maybe. And other people are terrified of that, saying, hey, if we strip out too much services and we don't know what's going to happen, that could be a big problem for our community. What I'm more worried about is the people at risk, the Meals on Wheels people, all of that stuff, the lower income people that really rely on services, the kids in lunch programs and things like that. All of these things I'm just really worried about affecting. And I'm a big middle out guy. I believe that you should give most of the tax benefits and tax breaks to the middle class because they're the spenders, and let them you give them the benefits, let them spend the money as they're going to spend it. That's going to lift all boats, because the whole reason why the United States is the number one power in the world isn't just our military, it's our spending power of our consumers. We have the strongest consumers in any place on the planet, and that's a real valuable commodity. So if you give those resources to that group of people, they're definitely going to spend it. They're not going to be putting that money in. They're not going to
savings rates aren't going to suddenly surge.
That might be part of the problem.
It might be, but it would be a much more egalitarian way to lift all boats, because then the consumers are deciding what they want and what they don't want, as opposed to the federal government being given huge tax deductions to these big corporations or groups and letting them decide how they're going to control the market. Just an idea, but I'm more of a middle out guy, right? I just believe that if you give it to the middle class, it's much better than giving it to oligarchs and stuff like that, and let them decide what our future is going to be. But anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about.
You want to take a break?
No. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about. Wow, are we that far?
Yeah.
I can't believe we're that far. Holy moly.
We went off on a tangent.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. I'm really tired, guys, so I'm dragging it. I'm not keeping in touch with everything. But let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and take a break. Okay. And then on the flip side, everybody can call us up and make fun of ourselves about the raffle that we tried to do last week. It is still alive, but it is not the way that we thought it was going to happen. We're going to talk about that and how we're going to fix it and how you can participate. That's what we're going to do next, Timothy, okay?
Right. We'll do that coming up
thanks.
right next on Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7 on the Treasure Coast.
The bad news, the brain isn't all that great at hearing stuff and remembering it. The good news, you can watch us too. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Real Radio 92.1. Real Radio weather.
I'm meteorologist Charlotte Carl with CBS 12 News. Hot and humid conditions continue through the rest of your Saturday. A heat advisory will remain in effect through 7 p.m. this evening, so keep taking your breaks in the shade and drinking your water. Rain chances will drop out of the forecast this afternoon and through tomorrow thanks to some more Saharan dust.
This report is sponsored by RockAuto.com.
Oh, Ben Tyrod, what are you going to do?
I'm way ahead of you. I'll be on rockauto.com before you can even finish this commercial.
He's right. RockAuto.com. Parts when you need them.
All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto.
This is Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7. Real talk for the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rao from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rao will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rao, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Kamaranets, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
This is Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7. Real talk for the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Hey, welcome to Florida Talk Real Estate, the #1 real estate information provider in Florida. All things real estate. We can help you if you have questions about buying a house, selling a house, investing in a house, insuring a house, refining a house, reverse mortgage of a house, regular mortgage of a house,
Property deeds.
legal issues. What you just say? Yep, foreclosure, loan modifications. What did you say, Chris?
As estate planning.
Oh, estate
deeds,
planning. Yes, I
titles.
just helped. Thank you for mentioning that. We had two people this week, last week, call us up. We got them over to the law office of Paul A. Krasker. Both of them are trying to make sure that they're transferring the property from a living relative to their kids and doing it the right way so they don't have to go through probate heck, when things change. And we got him over to Paul. Paul's working on that right now. Thank you for helping our customers. Paul's great. So we could do all of that stuff, people. And so much more. It could even help you get reputable contractors and the advice you need on that. So if you need any help, even auto insurance and besides property insurance, auto insurance with others. I know you say everything but life insurance.
No,
right?
everything but health.
Oh, everything but health insurance, which is the one thing I really need right now.
Jewelry. You know, you're hosting a little party at your house. We'll get you some liability for that, for the party, whatever you need.
You know, you're having a big party, a big crazy party if you're getting insurance for the party.
Well, you know, I mean, some people invest a lot of money in art and everything like that, so I can see why.
Oh, I can see
fireworks. Yeah,
Absolutely. A fireworks party. You know, if you're hosting something at your local clubhouse or something, they'll make you get it.
Yep.
So it's like $100.
When I was in Gainesville, when I was at UF, when I was a kid, I had a buddy of mine, and his mom had bought a townhome, so he and his sister can go to school, and they were planning on selling it afterwards. And we were seniors, and this guy decided he was going to have a party. It was like Labor Day weekend or something in Gainesville, and it was kind of slow. So he wrote all these flyers. It's like, come to my house, we're going to have a kegger party, right? And he put these flyers out. He went all over campus, and he was putting the flyers everywhere and handing them out to people and everything. And what he said in it is that Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers were coming.
Oh, boy.
Now, Tom Petty lived in Gainesville at that point, right? Or I don't know if he still lived there at the time, but I've actually partied in Tom Petty's old house when he lived in Gainesville. Like, people rented it out and stuff. So anyway, he said Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers were coming, and they weren't coming. And we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people come. I mean, it was crazy. And there was this gigantic backyard that was about the size of a football field. And that whole thing got packed. And he bought bushels and bushels of oysters. And we were cooking the oysters on the grill. And everybody was dropping the oyster shells everywhere in the house. So the next morning you wake up, it's just like a movie where you just see the place totally trashed, right? And I wake up, right? I wake up, it was like Noga because you were so tired when you woke up. And I wake up and I remember being, not feeling good and everything, waking up. And the reason why I woke up is I heard all this meowing. And the sliding glass doors were still open. And all of these cats, these stray cats, were in the house. Eating all the scraps from the oysters, so they were just going over all the oyster shells and everything. Well, what happened before we went to sleep that night, I'm putting that in quotes before everybody passed out, the party got so out of control, he tried to stop the party, and the people were like, no way, we're not leaving. And he had to call 911 on himself. He called 911, and then the next day, he said, "Hey, can you come over and help me clean up the place?" Right? So I was like, "Okay, I'll come over and help you out." And he calls me like 2 hours later, and he goes, "Jim, you got to come over and help me." I go, "What?" He goes, "I'm in big trouble." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "I fell asleep in the bathtub with the water running." And it was a townhome. And he says, "Listen to this." And he starts putting his feet like up and down on the ground, and you could hear splashing. And he goes, "That's the middle of my living room." And he totally destroyed the place. He totally destroyed it. And then the water went to the neighbor next door. And
remember we were having a conversation off air right before?
Yeah.
I think I'm out.
There you go. Yeah. So anyway, I know I'm taking away too much time. So let's talk about important stuff. Important stuff. Let's talk about the raffle, guys. Our big messed up raffle last week. So let me just give you a roundup about that. So we came up with this idea. Wells Fargo came out with this survey, and only one person out of 2012 surveyed, only one person got all 12 multiple choice questions correct. I'm sorry, I'm burping. I got hiccups. And only one person got all of them right. So I was thinking about when I was driving home, I was like, oh, let's see if the audience, how they'll do on this 12 question multiple choice thing. So last week we came up with this idea, and Chris made some tumblers, some coffee tumblers with some of our logos and everything on it. And we're like, hey, the first 25 people that take this survey, we'll give them a tumbler. And then everybody that takes the survey will, doesn't matter the score they get or anything, just checking out the survey, they'll be involved in a raffle ticket where they can get a $100 gift certificate. So today we were supposed to announce the 25 people that were getting the thermoses or tumblers, and also the Amazon gift card. We sent out the email last Monday, all excited, and then I started getting the emails back. Hey, I can't open up the link. Hey, I can't answer the questions. Hey, I can't do this, can't do that. I'm like, what the heck? Because when I used it, it was working fine. But when we sent it out through mass email to all of our people in our database and everybody asked for the email system wasn't working right. So you can't open up the survey. So the whole thing turned into a complete mess. So now that we had to do Chris to the rescue because I suck at technology. So Chris, tell me how we're going to fix this problem.
So yeah, no, I've rebuilt the survey, and I'm going to embed it on a page on our website here in the next day, over the next couple of days.
FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Yeah. So what we'll do is we can send out the link to or just go to our webpage, and you can have access to the survey there to be able to participate on everything. So we'll make sure everything's working here, today, tomorrow. And we'll give it a couple of test flies, make sure it's still working, and then we'll go ahead and relaunch it next week.
I was so proud of myself when I put that whole thing together because I actually created a clickable link and everything, and I was like, wow, I'm really learning how to do stuff, and then the whole thing turned into a mess. So
we'll get it.
Anyway, everybody, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we don't have the results like we promised today, so this is what's going to happen. We're going to fix this all next week. Then the following Monday, a week from Monday, we're going to send out the mass email blast. You'll be able to go to the website. You can click on the survey. You can even answer the survey. It doesn't really matter what your score is. This isn't about who's smartest in real estate. I just wanted to get a feel as to what people know about buying homes. And then you're in the raffle. And then you have a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. And if you do it fast enough, because there's still actually some of the 20, I'm going to keep everybody that reached out to me from last week.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't hit 25 people through those. So there's still a possibility of winning the tumblers.
Yep.
And we might turn this into a monthly thing where you have a monthly raffle. And the other thing we're going to do also is starting that Monday when we send out the mass email a week from Monday. Anybody that calls the show with a question or a good thing, we're going to offer them either a tumbler or a Florida Talk Real Estate shirt with all our logos on and everything. I think that would be kind of cool.
We'll have the tumblers, the first round of tumblers get delivered today. So we'll make sure we like how everything looks, and they'll be ready to go.
So we suck as raffle people. That's what we learned. But we're learning how to do it, and maybe we'll get really good. And eventually, if the market ever gets really super hot, maybe we'll do a raffle house, right? That has, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day when market was slow, people were selling houses through raffles. Remember that? Yeah. And they were making a lot of money. The sellers were making more money than doing it a regular deal because the amount of people that were buying the raffle tickets was way more than what they probably could have got for the house.
I feel like it would be a lot harder to do this today just from a legal and a compliance standpoint.
Well, Paul Krasker told me when I was like, "Hey, I want to do that," and Paul's like, "No, you don't." He's like, "No, you don't." It's like, "Oh, maybe I do though." But we did.
Jim's like, "I want to do it even more."
Yeah, I want to do it more. Right, exactly. So we got to get Paul back on the show again. Can't wait till we have Dorothy Jacks come on next week. Yes, that's right. Dorothy Jacks of Palm Beach County Property Appraiser is going to come on, and we're going to talk about this new referendum about Florida property taxes and get some really good information that's non-political about what will happen if this if this referendum is passed, and if it isn't, and the pros and cons of all of it. And we're going to talk about it, but it's going to be strictly financial, not political. That's for you guys to decide on what you want to do. We're just trying to give you information and make an informed decision. Just want to do some shout outs really quick. I'm going to get through shout outs, and then we're going to get into the Florida insurance fraud stuff right on the next break. Florida insurance myths, not fraud. Okay, so the raffle went bust. Dorothy Jacks is coming next week. Now we're getting into the shout outs. First shout out, Joe and Chris Ann. They're going to be new first-time homeowners. I'm really excited about that. We met with Joe and Chris Ann last week. He says he's been listening to the show. Joe's been listening to the show for over 10 years. It's time for him to buy a home. Really excited about it. We got him over to Mike Rao from the mortgage firm. They got the app set up. Last week, me and Chris had a very long meeting with Joel and Chris Ann and went over the whole home buying process. It was a very, I got my fingers crossed here. It was a very productive meeting because I don't want to get into all the specifics, but they were on a tighter budget and they really would like to have a single family home, but if they can't, they're willing to take a townhome or a villa or something if they have to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we think we found out a way where they can get that single family home because they were more open to their geography.
Yep.
So that really helped out a lot. As we get closer, we'll tell you the story of the journey that they're going on to find their first home. But thank you for trusting us. We're going to be working with them next week. Also, John and Lisa called us the same week to also start their home buying process. To be honest with you, I thought John and Lisa were actually better candidates in a way because they saved a huge amount of money for their down payment. Lisa also, because of her profession, is part of the Hometown Heroes Down Payment Assistance Program. And I'm like, these guys are rocking it. They're doing everything right. The only problem that we had is that John worked in a profession where he was paid a weekly paycheck, and now he's decided to go out on his own. So now he's self-employed, and he doesn't. We got him over to Mike, and he doesn't really have the track record financially yet in order to be loan worthy at this point. So I had a long conversation with him yesterday, Chris. I didn't get to talk to you about this. And they're probably leaning that they're thinking that they're going to go ahead and rent for a year and then buy next year, which, that plan will work. And if that's what we have to do, that's what we'll do. And he thought that because he didn't get the loan, that I wouldn't even call him back. Can you believe that? And he goes, wow, I'm really glad you called me. And I go, of course I'm going to call you. It isn't about whether you could be approved or not. It isn't like a pass-fail test with me. We're here to help you. And if you can't buy right now, we're going to figure out the path to get you to home ownership. So that's what we're doing right now with him. I think that we're going to have many opportunities for his rental property that he's looking for. But this might have a little twist and turn in the story later where he and Lisa might not end up being renters for a year, even though that's what the plan is right now. So that might change. So that'll be kind of interesting. And I'm really looking forward to helping them either get their new rental property to get ready to buy or to buy the new property if that makes sense for them. Also,
that's a little pro tip. If you're thinking about buying a house within the next year, now's not the time to start your own business.
Yes,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
But everybody wants to start their own business. And I mean, not discouraging you from doing that, but like if you are planning,
make sure, yeah.
Talk to somebody about the business that you're starting. Is it going to transfer with your experience?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, in their situation too, he had started the business, but there were forces beyond their control that they had to have to vacate their current property. So they weren't quite going to buy, but then there was a external situation. They had to be out of the place that they were in. So that kind of forced their hands. And so, we'll work through it.
Well, the universe is slowly nudging them to home ownership. So that's what's happening right now. So I'm really excited. And it was really good to talk to John yesterday. He was really happy to hear from us. I'm like, John, we're here for you. So we're just going to make it happen. So really excited about that. We're going to get them helped out. Last shout out for today is Juan and Saray. Juan and Saray, I think I've helped them sell 2 properties and buy 1 property, I think, over the years. And now it's time for them to sell again. And now they're going to be moving to Central Florida. So we're going to be selling their acreage home. I'm really excited getting this one on the market. Really nice home. One of the close to acre and a quarter, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single family CBS home, acre and a quarter, got a pool, screened in. House is in really good condition overall, and really looking to put that on the market and helping them move up to the Orlando area where we're going to help them find a place up there too. So really looking forward to that. Thank you, Juan and Saray, for hiring us. Looking forward to working with you. Chris, I forget, did you sign any new customers just last week, not over recently.
No, there were a couple of carryovers
I know
from the
that-
week before.
Yeah, and I know that you have one that might be doing like buying and selling soon.
Correct. Yeah, but that's not. We're
It's
still
set in
working through
stone
that.
yet,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
not set in stone.
So we have a bunch of stuff, and one of the things you got to understand when you call us, sometimes people don't want to call us until they come up with the answers in their plan, and that's a way to do it and everything. But if you're really confused and you're not sure what you don't know, give us a call. We'll give you that free consultation for sure, and kind of come up with the plan that will work for you. And a lot of times when people take us up on that, which a lot of people do, they're like, "Wow, I never thought about that," or "I didn't think about it that way," or "Wow, I could do that." Right? And there's all these other options that they don't know about that we might be able to help them with. So you don't have to call. You don't have to call us because I definitely am buying, I'm definitely selling, or I'm definitely going to invest. Call us up to say, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? Help me out. Help me make a decision that's good for me in my life."
Yeah, because I mean, part of it, it's so this client that I'm working with, I've known him for a long time, but we've been talking for about 3 months or so now about and he's still trying to figure out what it is that he wants to do. He lives, he's got a couple of properties now. He lives, a little bit further away from the beach versus where he would like to. So it's a lot of it is just been going through. I don't think he really fully understood what he could do, whether it required him to sell his house or not. So there's a bunch of big decisions that get wrapped all up into these situations. So starting that conversation, it matters because we can provide referrals to tax people and other elements that you need. So it's a process, I think, is the key point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we have the people up with the brownstone up in Ozone Park and another group of people. They want to sell, but they're both worried about capital gains and what's going to happen with the capital gains because they're getting older.
Statutory trust.
So we're talking about what's called Delaware Statutory Trust, which Perry CPA Group, Jared Perry, is connected to groups that do that type of financial planning for people.
My
That's
buddy does
my
that.
pay grade.
I have no idea what he does. Like I know,
yeah,
he
he
tells
does.
it to me all the time, and I'm like, I still don't know what you do.
Yeah, it's funny that's called the Chandler Bing syndrome, right? You just don't, he's got a job, you just don't know what he does. But yeah, so Jared has access to Delaware Statutory Trust, DSTs, which is a way for you to one of the guys I just talked to who does this all the time, a realtor up north who does it all the time, because just think of it like micro shares of a business that you own, right?
Yeah.
Think about it that way.
It's essentially like a real estate investment trust. There's a lot of different real estate REITs, they call them, real estate investment trust funds out there. This is one that's just managed in a specific way to protect capital gains and defer taxes.
Yep, you're deferring your taxes, and you still get monthly income with these DSTs. So it's
There's a
just like
dividend.
being a landlord,
Yep.
because you're getting a stream of monthly income, and then you have it for a certain period of time, and it's written in the contract. And then when the time ends, after you get all the dividends, then you get a multiplier at the end, where you get your initial investment back plus a multiplier.
I know it sounds like a multi-level marketing scheme whenever he tells me about it.
Well,
But I know it's legit. I know they're.
I know,
legit.
and I didn't really talk about. I'm just being real about this. I didn't talk about it on the air for like 3 years. He started this like 3-4 years ago, but Jared decided he was going to invest his own money in it, and I was like, let's see what happens. And it's been 3 years now, and he got his monthly income. He got the stream of income from the dividends, and he got the multiplier at the end.
Don't you have to like sell? Don't you have to sell your house or sell a property and then be able to roll? It's like a 1041 exchange.
A 1031. It's a 1031 exchange, which is the way when you take investment. If you sell an investment property, you have capital gains. You're supposed to pay capital gains tax, and the way to avoid that is that you could roll the money into a new investment property. That's called a 1031 exchange, and then you don't pay the taxes on the money that you made because you rolled it into the new project. Now you're going to pay taxes to just kick down the road later to avoid. However, I'm sorry. So Jarrett went through that whole thing, and he got the multiplier, and he was so impressed that he decided that he was upping with the money that he had made and just threw it back into it to get a bigger return later. Now, all investment is risk. Nothing's guaranteed. So if you went into one of these real estate investment trusts, it doesn't have to be a DST, but any REIT or anything, you could have a failure there, and you have to be aware of it. Just like being a landlord, right? Your landlord, you have risk too, but you have to weigh the risk and make sure it's right for you. But so we had 2 people right now that are calling about that, and we're like, hey, we can even help you with that too, and try to find out the best way for you to deal with your capital gains situation. So we're here for you guys. If you need it, we're here for you. We can help you.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take another break right now. And on the flip side, we're going to start busting Florida insurance myths. I'm so tired of reading in the news all over the country about how Florida insurance just totally sucks, right? And it really isn't like that anymore. And it's like so 2021 and what they're talking about. So we're going to talk about all this stuff that's happening in the news. Hey, I bought a metal roof and now I'm not getting an insurance discount that I thought, and I paid all this extra money for this super duper metal roof. Or hey, I have asphalt shingle house and I'm being told that no insurance carrier is going to carry me if my asphalt shingle house is my asphalt shingle roof is 15 years or older. And they're saying that they feel like they're not going to be able to get insurance. And I'm reading this stuff. I'm like, that isn't what's happening in our lives on the Florida Talk Real Estate Show with our customers and the people that are going to Ross Camaronets from Brightway Insurance. So we're going to get to the bottom of all this, and we're going to give you some really good tax savings for home hardening, hurricane protection that Florida has to save you money to buy those things to help make your house more protected for hurricanes. We're going to go do that next.
When you give up trying to teach your parents how to use their smart speaker and take it home, tell your smart device to play Real Radio 92.1 on iHeartRadio. Here's what's happening with the weather on Real Radio.
I'm meteorologist Charlotte Carl with CBS 12 News. Hot and humid conditions continue through the rest of your Saturday. A heat advisory will remain in effect through 7 p.m. this evening, so keep taking your breaks in the shade and drinking your water. Rain chances will drop out of forecast this afternoon and through tomorrow thanks to some more clear and dust.
This report is sponsored by iHeartAdvertising.com.
Run a business and not thinking about podcasting? Think again. More Americans listen to podcasts than ad-supported streaming music from Spotify and Pandora. And as the #1 podcaster, iHeart's twice as large as the next 2 combined. Learn how podcasting can help your business at iHeartAdvertising.com.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rao from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rao will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rao, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Camaronets, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
From the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys Studios.
Have you been in an accident? Call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Real Radio 92.1 is WZZR West Palm Beach, an iHeartRadio station.
Make us the #1 preset on your car radio and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. Listen for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Hey, welcome to Florida Talk Real Estate, the #1 information provider, all things real estate in Florida. This is Jimmy D. Johnny C is out. I know you miss him. I do too. I'm very tired. I wish I wasn't Johnny C today, but I am. And I haven't even introduced anybody the whole show today. I didn't even realize. Did you do that, Jimmy, when I was having problems again?
Not really. I mean,
yeah. So we've had strangers on the show the whole day, right? So I'm Jimmy D. I'm the host of Florida Talk Real Estate, in case anybody's new. And I also run a team called the Florida Home Pros with Keller Williams Innovations. And we have also Ross Camaronets from Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Hey, Ross, how are you doing today?
Doing good.
I know. I'm making fun of me, man. He's having so much fun with this. And only Juno Beach. That's the office you should go. Only Brightway is only Juno Beach. Only the Juno Beach one is what you care about. As far as we're concerned, there is no other Brightway Insurance other than the one in Juno Beach, because that's where Ross is and his crew. And we've got Chris Peterson, also part of the Florida Home Pros with Keller Williams Innovations. Good morning, Chris. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good. Hey, when you went up to Orlando recently and you drove back, which isn't that bad of a drive compared to what I just did you do it all in one day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you weren't that tired afterwards?
I mean, it's a long day.
Yeah.
But you went a little further.
Yeah.
So
it was
just
crazy.
that much more work.
Yeah. So let's get into Florida. We're going to be doing the raffle again in case anybody missed it. Is waiting for the raffle announcement. We just went over a whole big thing just before this break about what's going on with the raffle. Basically, short version is a week from this Monday, we'll be sending out a new email blast and starting the whole thing all over again and doing it the right way, I hope this time. I hate technology.
We're going to call it the raffle reset.
Oh, that's a good raffle reset. And then once we get this whole thing fixed, I think we're going to do it as a monthly thing where people that call in the show and interact with us will be part of that raffle. And we'll have a monthly raffle off, if you will. Okay, let's talk about.
Just throw in there too. There's no purchase or anything like
that. Oh yeah, everything's
it's not
free.
Like money involved.
Yes, and with this particular this first raffle, it's going to be based on a survey that you're going to take. But it doesn't matter what score you get on the survey. So it isn't like who's the smartest survey taker is going to win. It's just take the survey and you're in and you win a chance to win the $100 gift certificate from Amazon. And of course, we've got producer extraordinaire, Jimothy. How you doing, Jimothy? So I forgot. Didn't do anything right today. It would have been nice if I turned on the YouTube and Facebook on time. That would have been a nice way to start the show. But we didn't even do that this week. So let's talk about these Florida insurance myths, because it was driving me crazy this week. I was reading this stuff. You could hear me screaming, going, no. So the first one was on, and I'm not beating up on the news shows, but I'm going to go ahead and tell them anyway. WPEC, Channel 12. They did one where they were talking to this insurance agent from a insurance company. I don't want to bring up his name, but the headline is, Florida homeowners with 15-year-old roofs could see insurance options shrink. And what they're saying is, if you got an asphalt shingle roof, that there's hardly any insurance companies that will insure you if you're past the 15-year mark. And I'm like, that's not my experience, and I think I do a little bit of real estate. And then the next article that came out the same week was a guy on, hold on, my computer's slow, so just hold on here. I think this was Channel 5. So Channel 5 WPTV, they also came up, they also talked about this 15-year rule for asphalt shingles roofs, but then they had a guy who was really complaining. He just put on this super duper $50,000 metal roof on his property, and he had the expectation that his insurance rates were going to go down because of the type of roof he put on, and he didn't get an insurance discount, and he was really PO'd about it, right? And I was like, okay. And then, we're still reading in these articles about how high insurance is in Florida compared to the rest of the country, and that we're going through this crisis and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that was so 2-3 years ago of where we were in an insurance crisis. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
We had more insurance companies leave in the state of Florida than we've ever had in the history of insurance companies.
Not only just stopped offering coverage, they went out of business.
I was going to say, that was my next thing. We had more bankruptcies, if you will, from insurance companies than ever in the history.
Crazy.
Yeah, they would just fleeing left and right. It was just like a body count. But things have been getting better. And the reason why things got better, and you don't read about this, you don't see it. So we're giving you what's really happening in the world, not what the spin is. The reason why we had such high prices was mostly because of fraud. That's what the state legislators and the insurance companies were complaining about. So they put in a bunch of legal protections to basically protect the insurance companies away from fraud, and created a bunch of regulations. And Ross told us, I think they were put into effect in 2023, maybe 2022, somewhere around there. And Ross was like, give it 2 years, give it 2.5 years, and everything's going to start smoothing out. And I'll be darned, that's exactly what happened, and which is exactly what the insurance companies thought was going to happen too. Now, we've been very blessed that we haven't had really a lot of hurricane issues on our side of the coast during this time, which made things even better for us because we haven't had a big one in a while. So,
but even, if we get a big one, the difference between the litigation and excessive, maybe fraudulent lawsuits and the big hurricane is the insurance companies are able to insure what's called reinsurance for hurricanes. So there's no reinsurance.
There's no
way
fraud
to
reinsurance?
ensure, how often you're going to have to pay the plaintiff's attorney's fees.
Yeah.
Right. So even if we get a big one, it's not devastating, like what we went through 3-4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good, but it's not like, oh my gosh, we're doomed.
Yeah. And Ross has also, just to break some other myths, Ross has also mentioned to us many, many times that Citizens Insurance, which we always thought as insurance of last resort, was always not funded properly. And if we had a problem, that they wouldn't be able to cover the bills. And Ross has never believed that. I used to believe that. And Ross is like, no, it looks pretty. I mean, you're not an
they
expert.
buy the reinsurance and,
right.
The billions of dollars. I mean, the good news is, I could probably count on one hand how many Citizens policies we've written since December.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago, it was like Citizens Citizens, you
was
call up,
every
it's like, hi,
policy.
this is Citizens Insurance claim, this is the Citizen Sign Up Center. That's all we got. We don't have anything else.
Yeah.
Right? That's the way it was.
It was.
Citizens. And now it's hardly ever citizens, which is great because we have private companies
way it's
willing to
supposed to
take on the risk.
And we are using them the way they are supposed to be used,
Mhm.
and we're back to a normal market, which
Right.
is really good.
Yeah, it's really nice. So this whole thing about, the insurance market being really, really bad and the drag on the real estate economy. Now, look, insurance isn't cheap. I'm not trying to make it sound like, it's super discount, but it's manageable now. Let's just put it that way. It's kind of manageable for most people. And we've seen premiums go down. Ross has already saved $314,000, you said?
Mhm.
$314,000 in savings for people that called up Ross and said, hey, I want an insurance quote, see if I can get an insurance discount. And it's happening all the time. So don't make it, if you're thinking about this, or if insurance is really affecting you, give us a call and see if there's a way that we can find other options for you, because some of these insurance agents that are telling you if you're asphalt. So let's go into this first thing, asphalt shingle roofs. Just in case people don't know, asphalt shingle roofs are sometimes called single tab or triple tab or dimensional shingle roofs, right? So they have the little granulations all over it, and sometimes it kind of looks like shaker roofs. When I first started on this show, Chris, back then, they would give you at least 20 years life on an asphalt shingle roof when we first started the show in 2012.
I mean, to be honest,
Mhm.
some companies were doing 15 back then.
Mhm.
Some companies were doing 18,
Mhm.
and the most was 20. So this isn't like new.
Right. So
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
I
go
was
ahead.
going to say the disconnect, I think, is that so the manufacturers of the asphalt shingle roofs,
Mhm.
they warrant them for
30 to 40 years.
up to, I think it's 25 years now.
Oh, it used to be 30
well, it
to
depends on
40.
where you are. The closer you are to the coast, it's slightly lower. I had to go through this with my house in Hallandale. I think it's if you're within a certain distance from the coast, it's like the warranty period is reduced some, and then if you're further away, it's actually the normal, right? But that's a manufacturer's warranty is totally unrelated to insurance, criteria, right? Or insurers, underwriting criteria.
Exactly. So that part, I didn't know about how they changed the manufacturer warranty life of the roof. But what insurance companies care about is called useful life.
Mhm.
And what that means is that they have to determine that the roof is in good enough condition to withstand windstorms and things like that, and that it's not leaking. And just because your roof has a manufacturer warranty of 25 or 30 or 40 years, the insurance company doesn't really care about that as much. They just want to know the roof is sound and can take the next storm and be ready for the next storm.
And I know this 15-year number is the thing that's causing all of the discussions this week. And I think, but there are Florida statutes and homeowners have rights. So if you have a roof that is at least 15 years old and you get some notice from your insurer, by law, you're entitled to have a inspector come out, do an independent assessment of the roof to potentially argue against the insurance company, like, hey, my roof has based on this report here, I've got all of the usable life left on my roof, so I shouldn't be getting penalized.
And that useful life inspection report, Ross, that's usually like what, $100, $150?
So I mean, a lot of the times it can be the page 4 of the 4-point. So it depends on how much you're charging for a 4-point and whether you already have one. But a roof inspection, 100, depending on the inspector.
Right.
$100 to $200.
Yeah.
$100, $200, and it might save you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's tip number one. Just because the insurer is telling you, hey, we want you to replace the roof, you do have rights. I would definitely do the roof inspection for useful life if you feel like your roof is in really good shape.
Yeah. I think I'll just one more thing. You have to look at this and think like an insurance company. Insurance company is just gonna, if it's 15 years old, they're gonna flag it. Like their system is designed to just, hey, this is getting older. We got to start paying attention to this. And it doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden you can't get a better rate. It's just they're just doing their, I'll say their algorithms are flagging different properties like, hey, the roof is now at this age. It's now to them, because they're looking at this from a business standpoint, they're like, it's a calculated risk now that comes into play. So that's where you have to be your own advocate. Do that. I know it sucks that you have to pay $150 to $200 for an inspection, but if it saves you from having your insurance rates go up dramatically, it's money well spent.
I mean, I say you get that notice in the mail, call me.
Yeah.
Right.
Because this isn't a rule, right? Like where every single carrier's, that is the, like there's a rule and everybody that's 15 years is going to get this letter. It's more carriers do rate things differently. They all do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So just because your carrier sends you that notice doesn't mean that, oh my gosh, your house is now uninsurable or anything like that. It's, maybe that carrier just has an issue with 15-year-old roofs, and the next carrier loves 15-year-old
Well,
roofs.
that's what I was going to ask you. Just because you have a carrier that says you need to replace your roof because it's past 15 years or hits 15 years, can somebody call you and see if other companies will take the roof as it is?
Absolutely.
No problem. And there probably will be companies that will most of the time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there's all these options, and you don't read about this they don't talk about any of this in these news articles, right? It's just like, oh my God, if you got your useful life, your warranty on your roof is 30 years and only giving you half the life of the useful life of the warranty, and it's like doesn't make any sense.
It's 30 seconds on TV. They're just getting the headline.
Yeah,
that's it. So the reality behind it is something different.
Yeah. So here's a couple of things. So now the other guy that was complaining that he put on a metal roof and it was a $50,000 roof, and he was really upset that when he put the metal roof on, that he expected this huge discount on his insurance policy, and they gave him nothing, right? And I was like, they gave him nothing because he put on a metal roof, right? They didn't give him any extra because it was metal. And the whole point of his point of view is that his roof was warranted for up to 40 years or 50 years, and it's supposed to be super strong and better than an asphalt shingle roof for hurricanes. And he's like, why don't I get a discount and spending all this money? And that isn't the way it works, right? The way it isn't work that way.
So there's a couple of things that could be going on there, right? So there are some carriers that if your roof was put on after March of 2002,
mm-hmm.
whether it was put on yesterday, it's the same rating. Like some carriers don't have an actual age of roof discount or even penalty.
Okay.
They're just going to give you what's called the FBC discount on the wind mitigation report. So whether it was put on in 2002 or today, it's the same rate. Other carriers, so he must have probably been with one of those carriers that doesn't have an age of roof discount. It's rated the exact same way no matter what. Then there are other carriers that, if your roof was put on today, it's going to be a whole lot cheaper than if it was put on 10 years ago. So that's one difference. The second difference is most carriers don't have a shingle, metal, tile designation as far as, you put a metal roof on, we're going to give you a better rate for that. The other thing is metal roofs are more expensive, right? He just said I spent $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if your current house had a $300,000 dwelling coverage replacement cost with a $20,000 shingle roof on there, and you just put a $50,000 roof on, now your replacement cost of your house is now going to go up. So because it costs more, so that's another factor that could play into it. And then the third factor is, okay, maybe he had his old roof covered at actual cash value.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's having a more expensive roof covered at replacement cost.
Mm-hmm.
So now the insurance company is on the hook for more money, which will drive your premium up.
Yeah,
so basically the table stakes changed. I mean, you've changed a multitude of different conditions to potentially create the situation.
Right. And I mean, if the article would have been, I shopped around.
Right.
And I'm being penalized for my roof, then that's a different article.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's one particular carrier that, like I just went through.
It would be a really good news article, local media, right? take a real life person that's going to be in the process of buying a new roof, hasn't decided, I'm putting this in air quotes, hasn't decided what type of roof they're putting on, and shop around insurance companies before you put the roof on. Say, hey, I'm thinking about putting on an asphalt shingle roof. I'm going to put on a metal roof. I'm going to put on a cement tile roof, and then find out the differences of what would happen, and kind of go through that journey, and then weigh the cost benefit analysis. Because you know what, I've told a lot of people a lot of times, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I would put the asphalt shingle roof on because
depends on how long you are going to live in that house.
Yeah.
Right. If that's forever, put the metal roof on, put the tile roof on. That's going to give you a whole lot longer life. But if you're like, man, I'm probably going to be here for like 5 years, just throw a shingle roof on.
That's exactly what I did on my house in Hallandale.
You put the shingle on.
The shingle. I wanted the metal roof, but I wasn't going to stay there. So I knew my time there was limited. So I was like, why am I going to put on the expense of that roof?
Yeah. And the one thing I'm noticing is, so it seems like insurance companies tell, because I'm doing this off the article. Okay. And they did mention that with the guy with the metal roof on WPTV, they did mention that one of the reasons why the insurer said that they couldn't, that he didn't get a quote discount is because now he had higher replacement costs because the roof is more expensive. So that was a factor. But my question is if a metal roof or another type of roof system than the traditional asphalt shingle costs twice as much as the regular roof, right? So let's say asphalt shingle is 20, metal roof is 40, right? The metal roof, let's just say in this example, you get 40-year useful life, and the asphalt shingle, you only get 25 years warranty. 40 years warranty, 25-year warranty. The metal roof, I read in the article, most insurance are going to give you a longer life on that. So they're probably not going to send out that letter on the 15th year. It might be the 20th year or the 25th year, right? Mm-hmm. Is that how it works?
Yeah. I mean, each company is going to, give different useful lives to different roof types. But yeah, I mean, I've seen 30, 40, I've seen unlimited on what they consider a permanent roof, like a tile or a metal, where they're just, I don't care how old it is.
Right.
You're going to get rated for it, obviously, but it's still eligible.
Right. So
compared to, you had to have a 1-year-old roof 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. There were companies that didn't want to insure if you didn't have a 1-year-old roof or younger.
Yeah.
Or younger, not or older or younger. It's like, what am I going to do 6 months from now after I get your insurance policy? Then what are you going to do to me? But it is frustrating, and I understand people complaining. But when you're complaining about things that, to me, it was like, oh my God, this is just negative.
I saw that, and I was going to be, I had like kind of written out I was trying to do it, like comment on it, but then I got sidetracked or something, and I would have been like the 6th or 7th comment. And then when I finally realized I forgot to do that, and I went back to it and I looked at the comments, and everybody's like, I called my insurance company first and, had the discussion with them, and like, people were kind of onto it, kind of like, why didn't this guy, do all this stuff that we're talking about?
Yeah. And so you need to do that. You have to be informed. The other thing though, is what I'm wondering is, if you do the asphalt shingle roof, and if there was only, like, say, a 5-year difference between an asphalt shingle and a metal, I would do the asphalt shingle. And the reason why is that for the amount of savings you get for the asphalt shingle roof compared to the metal roof, if you're only getting 5 years extra life, to me, I'd just put the shingle roof on, because when you replace it, you don't want to pay the extra amount, right, just to get extra 5 years out of life. So there are all these decisions to make when you're doing this. And it isn't just, hey, I'm putting on a new roof or a better roof. Now, here's the thing. I'm sure the guy who put the metal roof on, I'm sure they had a really good roofing salesman. Because when he was reading the quotes about, I have the best roof that's on the market, you can't get a better roof than I have and stuff, I'm thinking, yeah, that was the salesman telling him when he bought it.
Well, I was thinking about that too. I mean, I wonder if, because we're not saying the name of the company, right?
No,
the roofing company.
Right.
So, we're not, I'm not saying that they did this, but is it possible that they put it out there that you could save money on your homeowner's insurance?
I mean, you definitely can. I mean, you definitely can. I mean, not for this particular carrier, obviously,
right,
but I guarantee if he called somebody else, he's going to get a lower rate.
Yeah, you're probably right. So, hey, Mr. Homeowner, if you're listening to us and WPTV, you got to give us a call, and then we're going to fix your problem, and then call WPTV back. Okay, go, never mind.
I mean, I did. My clients call us all the time. Hey, I'm thinking about putting on a new roof. How does that affect our policy? Oh, awesome. Here you go. Now you have an educated decision.
Exactly. So let's go into a little bit of home hardening also, because I really appreciate Dave doing this. Anytime we could try to save people money, and I forgot about this program, and so I did some research after he told me about it. Okay, so let's see. So if you have a property that has a value, which has a homestead exemption, but it has a value of $700,000 or less, you're able to use this home hardening program in Florida to buy impact windows, shutters, panels, impact resistant doors, impact resistant garage doors, windows, glazing or door systems for houses, for doors that have the little eyebrow thing in, you know what I'm talking about, the glass. I'm having a very hard time talking today. It's like, could I just go to sleep now? So, but they have all these different products out there, and you can get a full sales tax exemption if you buy this stuff. So my question is about this program is, if I go from shutters to impact windows, or shutters, I should take this back. If I go back from steel panels to impact windows, or steel panels to accordion shutters, something like that. So I already have hurricane protection, but now I have a different type of hurricane protection. Am I going to get any kind of discount for that?
No.
Right.
It's the same. So if you already qualify for shutters, whether it's accordion or you got to put up those panels, and you want to get impact glass, there is no difference in discount. Even if you keep the shutters over the impact glass, no difference.
Okay, so that's an important. Now, let me ask you this. Let's say that you have a regular sliding glass door. Let's say the whole house is covered. So I'm using this one example, but the rest of the house is fully protected, okay? So let's say I have sliding glass doors, and now I'm putting impact sliding glass doors, right? But they didn't have a panel on it, right? So let's say that the windows and the sliders are being protected, and they had no protection at all. Almost anything you do that meets hurricane code to protect those windows and openings, you will get a discount because you had no protection at all.
Right. The opening protection discount is an all or nothing discount. So the extreme example is you could have shutters over impact glass, over every single window, over every single door, but you've got a skylight. That's an opening to the house that most of the time they do make impact rated. We do see some impact rated skylights, but most of the time that's going to be the weak point and disqualify you for it. So in your case, everything is protected except for the sliding glass door. So once you protect that sliding glass door, now you'll qualify for the discount.
Yeah, because that was the one thing that was missing in my
all
example.
Or nothing. Yeah.
Now, let's say I didn't have any impact protection on anything, and then I replace the sliding glass doors, but I don't do anything with the windows, and I just replace the sliding glass doors with some type of protection. That isn't going to really help you. It's all or
every
nothing.
single glazed opening.
Right.
So that's basically a window
Mhm.
needs to be protected.
And that includes the windows, if you have them, the lights that are in the garage door. You know how they have sometimes the not lights, but windows in there.
Decorative glass.
Yeah. The eyebrow glass on your front door. You know, sometimes you have that, or let's say a cabana door for a cabana bath that's going into the pool. Sometimes they have glass. Also, the other place that people don't look is this, the side lights on a front door. You know how you have the front door, and then you got the two windows on the next to them.
Those little glass block lights, glass block windows too, are like in a bathroom or a kitchen or something like that. A lot of times those will get you.
So you got to do all of it. So what would happen if the whole house was protected, but you didn't have a hurricane approved, code approved garage door?
So most of Palm Beach, Martin, and Palm Beach and North, basically. Most carriers just require all of your windows, or what we call glazed openings, to be impact rated. So all the solid openings, like a door, garage door, things like that. In Palm Beach County and North, most carriers are going to give you the opening protection discount. When you get into like Broward and Miami, they're going to want everything to be impact rated. All the doors, the garage door, obviously the windows, everything needs to be impact rated to get that discount.
You really got to talk. So if you're thinking about doing these home renovations, you really got to talk to your insurance person and not just your contractors before you make the decision on what you're going to spend. If you're doing it to save money on your insurance and not just doing it for the sake of protection, you really
Call
need
your
to talk
insurance
to
agent. I had somebody tell me that they were going to do spray foam, and I was like, I don't know, man, I wouldn't do it because in 5 years you may not be able to get a wind mitigation report. And the contractor called me and they're like, I've never heard of that. And like, what? I'm like, do you do insurance every day?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
And the reason why you're saying that, you can't see how many nails
they
were in the
sprayed,
field
they
and
covered,
everything.
like all the wind mitigation credits besides the opening protection. Everything is in the attic.
Right.
So they're looking in the attic to see, all the attributes. So if you spray those with foam, can't see them.
Yeah, and it's funny when you talk to a lot of home improvement salespeople that come to your house. Some of the stuff that they tell you is pretty amazing. One of my favorite is solar panels. The salespeople talk about all the great benefits about it, how the loan itself, if you're doing it through a loan, because they're very expensive. These loans are like $40,000-$50,000, sometimes more. So they're like, don't worry about it. You'll just don't put it on a loan and it's assumable. The new person, they can take over the loan afterwards. Don't worry about it. I was like, have you talked to a mortgage company? Because the mortgage company is going to say, no, we're not including that as part of the purchase of the house. You got to do that separate. And we're not taking care of that. And, that's the first complaint. The other thing is a lot of buyers don't want to pay the continuing cost for a solar panel system that they didn't want to buy for themselves. Their attitude a lot of times is a buyer will say, hey, Chris, you put on that solar panel, you pay for it. I'm not paying for it. You put it on. I didn't need a solar panel system. It's nice that it's here, but I'm not paying for the difference. And then Chris has to eat it. It happens all the time that way. So you just have to be really careful and talk to a few people before you make the decisions of these big purchases.
Are they still a big deal? People still buying a lot of solar panels? I feel like it's kind of that, like.
I'm just glad that I haven't had one in like 2 years. I'm just glad that I haven't had to deal with it.
Yeah.
I had this one guy, Kenny. He had, and another couple, they both had solar panels. I was dealing with them the same year. It's probably like 23, 24. And both of them, they're salesmen, different salespeople for that product. They just had them all hoodwinked that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and it's going to make it easier for the house to sell, and you're going to get more money because you have the solar panels and blah, blah, blah. And it didn't work out that way, and they were really upset. And they're like, why don't people see the value? Because a lot of times the people that put on the solar panel system for their house, they're spending a lot of money for that, and they really feel strongly that they wanted to do it. They're like greenies, right?
Yeah.
They're like real greenie people, and they really feel like they're helping the environment, or they really think that it will help them out for cost effectiveness in the long run, which it will. But that monthly payment outstrips all the savings for so many years. So if you're not buying it cash, it's really not the savings you think.
Whatever savings you get on the electric bill, you're paying that in the payment of the
and more
panel
usually and
installation.
more. And then and then if you have to sell, and then you're trying to get other people to buy in that, hey, this is a really great thing, and you should let me pass the costs on to you for your long-term savings. And the finances just don't usually work out right for it. And both of them, one of them didn't sell. One house, Kenny's house, I couldn't sell that house because nobody wanted to buy it because of the solar panel system. And then the other couple, we did get it sold, but they had to eat the solar panel, right? They had to eat it, and they were not happy about it at all. And what really got me bummed out is that couple. They were like preachers, and they came down here to like run a church, and then they had to end up moving back to Georgia, and it really was a very big financial burden for them, and they thought they were doing it to save money, and it costing them a lot of money, and I felt really bummed out about that. So with this home hardening program, it's basically a savings for taxes. All you're doing is you're not paying sales taxes on these products. That's what you're getting, and it's good through July 1st, 2026. All the way through July 30th, 2029. So if you're thinking about doing these kind of repairs,
couple that with the MySafe home.
MySafe Home.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then you're really getting some.
Yeah, you're really doing some stuff there. So if you're interested in finding out more about this, just give us a call, and we'll get you to the right places to get the information that you need. Okay, we're just one phone call away, guys. That's all you need. Now, are there any other myths or things, Ross, that you feel that we should be bringing up on this subject right now?
No, I mean, things are getting better. I mean, that's the gist of it. And if you're not checking to see if you've got the best rate, then you're probably paying too much.
Yeah. So you really got to check it out. And all you got to do is call or email or use the contact form on Florida Talk Real Estate. Hey, I want an insurance quote. Here's my address. Here's my phone number and email. The reason why we ask for your phone number, guys, a lot, sometimes my email goes into your junk through our contact management system. So phone number is really important. So don't hurt yourself by putting in a fake number but a right email thinking that you don't want to be bugged, because then you might not get the email at all, or it might be in your junk and you don't even know it. And you're thinking, oh, those guys, they never sent me the information, when it wasn't true. I had no way to contact you. When you give me your phone number, I usually don't call you. What I'm going to do, I'm going to send the email out to you and Ross to get you guys hooked up so that you can get the information you need. But then I text you to tell you, hey, sir, I just sent you an email from Jim at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com connecting you with Ross. Can you please confirm that you got it? That's all I'm doing. So give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We already saved $314,000 this year. And when I say we, I don't mean we. I mean Ross Kamaranis from Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. He's the one that's doing it. All I'm doing is pushing the information over him so that he can swing it out of the park. So please, we love helping people save money. Give us a call. We can help you too.
888-973-7828.
Thank you.
Ross, can I just tie those two subjects together real quick, which is solar panels and homeowners insurance? Do solar panels do any harm or, increase homeowners insurance because it's mounted to the roof?
So again, it's going to be carrier specific.
Okay.
Some carriers don't like them, and depending on what type of roof it's on, will also affect it. Some carriers will say, okay, we'll cover them for damage. You got to include them in when you're doing the replacement cost estimator.
Okay.
So that will increase your replacement cost by having those on there. And then there's some carriers that say we don't care about them, but they're not covered.
Oh,
So,
okay. All right.
We're not going to cover them.
The other thing with solar panels that you have to consider is that when you're replacing the roof, roofers hate that you have a solar panel on the roof, right?
Sure.
Because they're responsible for this $50,000 product that they don't, that isn't in their industry, and they got to take that thing off, in order to do what they need to do, and then they're not going to put it back on for you, and then you got to have somebody else come over and then reinstall the whole thing.
I'm surprised they'd even take it off for you. I figured that they would make you have, a company come out.
Well, that's true. And some of them
do.
might say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
some of them might say that. Or they say, hey, we'll take it off, but we're not responsible.
Yeah.
Right?
I
crazy.
had
It
a friend of
slides down
mine.
the roof and onto the floor. Not our problem.
I had a friend of mine that worked for a solar panel company, and she told me if you ever wanted to do it, she always recommended that you get ones that are mounted like on a pole that's separate from the house, and that eliminates some of those problems. And you might still be able to reap the benefits of having solar power.
Yeah.
It's just a thought.
Yep. So if you have any questions about this stuff, you have insurance questions, we're here for you. We're your resource, one-stop shop to get all this information. And we give you the information for free, and then you make choices. Sometimes you work with us, sometimes you don't, right? But at least you're getting the information that you need so that you can move on with your life and make the right decisions. And that's what we like on this show. Now, wanted to talk about, I can't do the shout out yet because Paul was closing on Monday. I also, like Chris, had a closing that was supposed to happen yesterday and did not close. It's going to close tomorrow. Now, Paul was very bummed out about that because he was counting on the closing money to do other things after closing, and now he can't. Now he's got to wait the whole weekend, and it's frustrating, but it happens once in a while. But the thing that was most frustrating working with Paul is that he got in trouble with he had a very severe accident, and he had surgeries, multiple surgeries. He still needs surgeries, and he really hasn't worked full time the way he normally did. So as he was selling the place, he got behind on his HOA before he met me, and he was late on the HOA, and his family has owned that place for over 30 years. So when he was late, he would turn in the HOA's money with the monthly fee, but it was late. And then the front desk would say, don't worry about the late payment. You've been with us, your family's been with us 30 years. You didn't pay that late. We're just going to ignore the late fee. But now that we're closing, the HOA attorney, nope, you're late on everything. So they filed foreclosure against him as a foreclosure, and they filed the foreclosure as soon as Paul told the HOA front desk people that he was selling his house and that he was in contract. And that's when they filed the foreclosure. Now, here's the big thing about that. When attorneys for either the bank or HOAs or whatever file the foreclosure, the attorneys that they hire to do that, there's court costs and legal fees for filing the documents into the courthouse, the process servers if it's needed, all the other things that are involved, plus the legal cost of drawing up the documents to get the foreclosure going. And I kept saying to Paul when we were going through this, you got to communicate with your HOA properly. Tell them that your house is on the market, then it was like we sold it pretty quick. So it's like, tell them that the house, we're going to be closing in 30 days and they're going to get all their money back. And he kept saying, they're going to be fine with me. They're going to be fine. And then they did file the foreclosure right before we closed. $4,600 for nothing, right? 46. Now, this guy's not a wealthy guy, right? And he's not selling some Taj Mahal. It's a regular home. Now, $4,600 is a lot of money to anybody, but specifically to Paul. And he had to pay that because I told him, I go, look, the attorneys, that's what they do for a living. That's how they make their money. They're not going to go, oh, don't worry about it, Paul. Everything's going to be great. You've been here for 30 years. Maybe the front people know you and love you and like you and you're a great guy. But that attorney, all he's looking for is he wants his money. And that's what he gets paid to do. So if you're, the reason why I'm bringing that up, there was an article that came out from Yahoo Finance. Nationwide, HOA foreclosures jumped nearly 40% nationwide as associations get tougher on unpaid dues, right? So there is a big spurt right now where HOAs are really putting the hammer on owners that are late. And here in Florida, obviously it's even worse than other parts of the country. But these fees, they're just these fees that they charge in order to start the foreclosure process. Even if you don't conclude the foreclosure, you pay off the problem before you get foreclosed on, before they smack the gavel and say, you lost the house.
Still fees incurred.
Yeah, there's still tons and tons of fees. And what I always tell people, it's like a ticking clock that never stops. Tick, 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 tick. And every one of those ticks is money coming out of your pocket and going into the attorney's fees and everything else. So one of the things we had to decide with Paul is what price we were going to put it at. And he wanted to put his house at a much higher price than I wanted because he felt that he really knew the market better than me over there. And I was afraid. I said, look, if we put it on the market for your price and we're wrong, you're going to be sitting there for a very, very long time and you're facing a foreclosure we don't have the luxury of just figuring out what the market is. We got to know the market, take control of it, and get this household, because trying to make an extra I told them before the foreclosure people foreclosed on them. I'm like, trying to make an extra 5 or 10 grand, you might lose more than 5 or 10 grand just from the foreclosure costs while you're waiting to get that extra money. He Paul was great to work with. We put it at a price higher than I wanted, but we dropped the price very quickly once we started getting some feedback, and we were able to get the house. So I think we sold the house in 15 days or less. We got it, and we did have a price drop, and we got like 99% of whatever we dropped the price to. We got that number. Then the house didn't appraise. And I was really surprised about that, because I had just sold the house behind him, and that one appraised actually $7,000 more than this house. And that house I sold 4 months earlier, and this neighborhood hasn't been going down. But for whatever reason, the appraiser didn't do it. The good news is it appraised enough that we could close, and we didn't have to worry about going back and reorganizing everything. But what I want to tell people, if you're having problems with your HOA, it could be very, very, very expensive for you in the long run. And don't mess around with that. You need experts to help you figure out. Of course, the easiest thing to do is just pay it off, right? You pay it off, the problem goes away. But if you can't do that and you're struggling, you really need to have some expert advice to help you figure out what your options are. Learn how to say the right things to the people foreclosing on you to try to get it avoided. So if you're in that situation, you're thinking, that's me, or that's my friend, or that's my aunt, or my cousin, or my daughter, or whatever, give us a call. We're going to get you to the right people, and we're going to give you free advice, to find out how to make the problem go away or fix the problem best you can. And then if it makes sense to hire us, you hire us, or hire whoever in the group is that you need. But we can help you with that. So please don't let the HOA take all this equity, strip all this equity out of your house because you missed a couple of payments. We're here for you on that. Okay. Let me see here. And Paul, I can't wait till we close Saturday. He had the final walkthrough on Friday. Everything's going pretty good, so we're okay. And one of the reasons why we didn't close on that Friday, Chris, why did you not close on your deal on Friday?
There was an issue with the way the mortgage was structured. And so about a week or so ago, we had basically gotten a clear to close with a couple of contingencies.
Mm-hmm.
And to make a long story short, at the very end, they're like, well, we need all, they didn't, without going into a lot of detail, there were some technicalities that were involved.
The point I'm trying to make is what we found out in that case. The people used their own mortgage broker. They didn't use Mike from the mortgage firm. We'll be back next week, Mike Rao. But they used their own people, which is unusual for us. But we'll work with anybody as long as they're good. But the people that prepared the first mortgage company that prepared that package for the couple to buy the house, according to the new mortgage company they hired, they didn't fill out the package properly, so it was denied, and it was going to be a mess to fix.
Mm-hmm.
So what the family did, and they did this week, and they were supposed to close Friday, Chris's people went and found another mortgage company. And then when I found out about all this, I was a little hyped out about it because I wanted to make sure that the people were protected. And I'm like, if they picked the wrong mortgage company the first time, and now they're picking their own mortgage company again, they need to come to us. But man, I got to tell you, that company
delivered.
What day did we find out? Was that Wednesday?
We found out on Wednesday. We were supposed to close on Friday, and the new mortgage company, we actually did receive the loans already clear to close as of yesterday, about early afternoon. So in 2 days, they were able to go through the full underwriting, get the clear to close, but
and had an appraisal.
A
second appraisal.
Wow. Like it was
in 48 hours.
Fast it went.
And I was very skeptical. So I was like, Chris, I got to get on this phone call with the new mortgage broker, find out what's going on. He was a direct lender like the mortgage firm, so we like that. But I asked him, he was so cocky, and I liked this because it was funny. I said to him, so what makes you, because he said, give me till next Friday. He wanted to extend it a week. And he goes, I'm not going to need the week.
Yeah.
He goes, but let's put it down for the week. Well, we're closing sometime. And he was so confident. And I've had that happen so many times, and they could not close, right? So I'm calling this guy, and I'm like, well, what makes you so confident that you're going to be able to close this on time? And he goes, why wouldn't I be able to close this on time? That's plenty of time for me to close next Friday. And I was thinking, oh, my God, I hope they didn't pick a bad one. Yeah. And anyway, so we made it happen. So we had, but both people, and the reason why we couldn't close on time is because of another mortgage mistake that was made from the buyer side. But we got them both fixed, and they're both going to close, and everybody's happy. But hiring the right mortgage broker and picking the right mortgage broker, it isn't just because they say, yeah, we could afford the house, right? Afford the loan. It has to be that they know what they're doing. Hey, guys, another 2 hours went. I'm so happy. I'm so tired. I'm going to go show properties to Christopher S., not Christopher P., who's in the office right now with me right now. But we're going down to Fort Lauderdale, and we're looking for an Airbnb for one of our customers. And we think we got a good one, so we're excited. Chris, I hope you have a good weekend. I'll see you down in Fort Lauderdale in about an hour.
I'll see you there. Exactly.
And Ross, thank you so much for telling us all about the myths and everything of Florida homeowners insurance. And what the bottom line was, give us a call to save money and don't make a poor choice. And Jimothy, thank you so much for holding down the fort for me today.
Sure thing. And number to call, 888-973-7828. One more time for you, nice and slow. 888-973-7828. Or FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
I like that one better. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Just go on the website. Yeah. There's all ways to contact us there. It's all right there. And keep an eye out. The weekly newsletter a week from Monday is going to be about the raffle. If you want to be part of that and you're not in the weekly newsletter, just send us an email through that contact form and say, hey, I want to be part of that weekly newsletter. Okay.
Ready?
Have a good one, guys.
Take care.
Happy South Florida. I didn't say it. Happy South Florida.
Be like the smart kids, like the summa cum laude of your workplace.
What?
Tell your smart device to play Real Radio 92.1 on iHeartRadio.
Training camp is open. The countdown to kickoff is on.
And it's time to get in the game.
iHeartRadio is the official home of the NFL Podcast Network.
We're obviously incredibly